Hi, my name is Preston Miller. Today, I'm going to tell you some of my personal experience with leaks on NuCamp trailers. Please understand, not every trailer is going to have the problems I'm describing. I like the NuCamp brand of RV better than any of the other 8 brands of campers I've ever sold. Most every RV will have some kind of issue to solve. Remember, they're made by humans, not by robots like most cars are made these days. Water leaks on travel trailers can happen for many reasons. The first one I'm going to call imperfections. Like I said, NuCamp trailers are made by human beings, and the size and shape of the teardrop camper requires more precision than some larger trailers that are simply rectangles. NuCamp has developed good techniques in quality control inspections, but even with that, there are circumstances beyond their control, such as avoiding the sealant on a window that causes a leak later, or a misaligned plumbing line that develops a leak after travel. Second, I'll talk about effects of travel. The bouncing of the trailer as you are towing, especially on rough roads, will cause shifting and loosening of some components. And the faster you drive, the greater the potential for damage. A third reason would be exposure to the elements. Sun, wind, rain, temperature changes all cause deterioration to the metal and plastics and wood and sealant. There are different rates of expansion and contraction between the different properties like plastic and aluminum, so there's a constant shifting, movement on the parts on a daily basis as the temperatures rise and fall. Along with that, there are storms that sometimes occur, and a tree limb can fall on the trailer and puncture the aluminum skin or change the shape. A fourth reason would be improper repair or delayed repair. Improper repair could be from you or someone else adding a camera or a roof rack and not sealing the mounting screw holes properly. A delayed repair would be something like accidental damage. You might say, well, that doesn't look too bad. I think I'll wait till the end of the season to fix it. And later realize that the bump in the back of the bottom of the tailgate of your CSS caused a leak, and you have water damage that the insurance will not pay for because it was not reported in a timely manner. Sometimes the reason for the leak is self-inflicted. An owner can make mistakes when they're using their camper. I want to give you 5 examples. The first example would be a situation that came up on one of our longer trips in our 400. We were several days into the trip, and we were breaking camp one morning that I was careful to fill the freshwater tank to the full mark because that night we would be boondocking. There was no dump station available, and the gray tank was about half full. We drove throughout the morning, and when we stopped for lunch, as I opened the door, I discovered water on the floor of the trailer. Well, the infamous Tab 400 shower handle had been pulled on by the bar of soap that had hung from the handle. And because there was water in the gray water tank, it filled up inside the wet bath and overflowed onto the floor. Thankfully, the pump ran out of water and the damage wasn't too serious. Lesson learned: always use a checklist and turn off the pump before travel. Never hang anything on the shower control. In fact, it's good to use a device to hold the lever in the off position so it doesn't get bumped while moving around the bathroom. I used Velcro on mine. Example 2, I had a Tab 400 that was parked in a windy storage lot, and the fantastic roof fan vent was not locked down. Now, these newer vents actually don't have a lock on them, but they seem to stay down better than the earlier fantastic vent. But the wind had come from the back side, and I would gradually vibrate the lid and work it to the up position. It was wide open when I had come after the storm. There was water damage. It actually damaged the base of that kickboard at the bottom of the sink. A third example I have is when you get home from a long trip, typically you clean out the camper and turn off the power. Hopefully you remember to defrost the fridge too. In many cases, I find trailers where the fridge has not been defrosted, where the power was shut off at the master switch and the water runs down, damages the cabinetry below, makes the fridge get musty inside, and you have a mess to clean up. Sometimes it even damages the floor, especially on the CSS model. A fourth example of self-inflicted water leaks is sloppiness in the Nautilus compartment. This applies to the tab 320 and 400 trailers 2021 and newer with the Nautilus system. While the convenience of having the Nautilus is nice, there is a downside to having it. On the tab 400s before 2021, you could look right under the bed and open your pressure relief drains when you winterized the trailer. Now you don't have that convenience, but the Nautilus gives you other convenience that you will like. But I want to show you what the problem had been with a lot of leaks on the Nautilus. On this 2025 model, the problem no longer exists. NuCamp has corrected it. But up through 2023, you can see in the mirror here, there was a gap. Now they're using a gasket or a sealant in there, just like I used to do when I found we had the problem. I would caulk that gap. Earlier models, say the 2021, had the shutoff valves right in the bottom of this Nautilus, and sometimes the screws, just like you've got 3 here, you would have 4 more for those hold downs. And it was common, unfortunately, for them to have water travel down through the screw threads if sealant wasn't sufficient around it. Sometimes even the corners of these Nautilus trays have not been caulked well enough and cause leaks into the floor underneath. Another thing I want to point out about the Nautilus is that on the tab 400 and 320, this is a steel fitting, chrome plated, and the inside will rust and actually continue to rust to the point that it'll rust everything together and you can't get it apart. The best thing to do with this is, after your trip, empty the water out of it, put it in the shower floor inside, and spray a little WD-40 or something in here to keep the rust from forming inside that steel fitting.